Hi folks, welcome to another Windows in the Cloud special. This time all around the new Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop announcements at Microsoft Ignite. And I have all the product leaders here to tell you everything about it. So let's get started. I'm super excited to be joined by various members of the Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop leadership team that will share all the announcements we did at Microsoft Ignite. But before they do so, please make sure to follow us on aka.ms/Windows in the Cloud or on our tech community page. So, hi Scott, great to have you back here. How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks Christiaan.
Hey, can you share a little bit about yourself and what you do at Microsoft?
Sure. So I'm Scott Manchester, and I'm a Vice President of Product for Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop. 23-year veteran at Microsoft and spent like the last half of my career working in this virtualization space.
Yeah, it's great to have you back as a recurring guest on this show. And this time, I really would like to have you summarizing all those exciting features and announcements we just did at Microsoft Ignite this year in 2023. Can you give an overview of what are those announcements? And we also have demos coming later on. But before we do so, can you give that heads up to the audience?
Yeah, what an incredible event. We had so much new features across AVD and Windows 365 to share. I'll start with some of the announcements on Windows 365. And some of these things are common capabilities that span both products. So you may hear me talking about them twice in the context of Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop. So we were super excited to announce some new AI capabilities with Windows 365 that provides incredible tools for admins to be able to understand the usage of their Windows 365 deployment. They can now see alerts and dashboards that will show them their undersized, oversized, underutilized, and right-sized Cloud PCs and give them specific actions to take to either adjust a user's Cloud PC up or down, or take back licenses that might not be used and assign them to someone else. And Intune Suite support, which includes EPM and remote help. Lots of new dashboards and insights on connectivity, allowing you to understand the latency and connection uptime for your users. And of course, we shared, again, some of the exciting new capabilities that Windows 365 Frontline bring for our customers as well. And also, we've now opened up the preview for the VMware integration with Windows 365 now to everyone. So if you're a VMware customer and you want to try this out, you can sign up now and get full access to that. On the end user experience side, we had so much new things to share there. It was incredible. The work that we've done on the new unified applications across Windows, Mac, iOS, and then Android coming soon. And many of those are available now for preview. And of course, we were so excited to share that we finally were able to deliver on the single sign-on experience for both AVD and Windows 365, making it much easier for your users to sign on with a single one-time password. And on the platform level, based on very strong feedback from you guys, from our customers and partners, we're now bringing GPU SKUs to Windows 365. So there's a limited preview program available now. We'll be rolling this out further next year. And again, by popular demand, we've brought forward a 16-core SKU offering for Windows 365 as well. And then on the AVD front, lots of new innovation there as well. We're now going live with the new personal desktop auto-scaling to allow you to control your costs for personal desktop deployments. We've extended the capabilities of our MSIX app attach now, making it easier for you to create packages that can span multiple host pools. And again, that new unified app brings AVD and Windows 365 experiences together in a single unified app now, and it's beautiful. Really encourage you to go check out the previews of that. And as I mentioned before, that single sign-on experience now works across Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop. And again, another very popular request from our customers is to be able to extend the capabilities of AVD on-prem now through Azure Stack HCI. We announced that will be coming soon next year. So a really incredible set of announcements. A lot of these things were really driven by the feedback from the audience like we have here today. So keep that feedback coming, and we'll keep innovating and delivering on those new capabilities.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Great announcements, and great to have you here on the show as well. So how can people stay in touch with you on social media?
Sure. So you can find me on LinkedIn at Scott Manchester and also on X at RDS for You.
Well, that's a unique name there, Scott.
A little bit of the history there.
And now I want to move to the exciting partner announcements with Deb. So Deb, hi, can you introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, I'm Deb Dubrow. I'm a group product manager for Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop, and I'm responsible for our partnerships and for our small and medium business offerings.
Great to have you here as well. Can you share some of the great announcements we just did at Microsoft Ignite?
Well, sure. I'm really excited to be able to talk about some of the work we've been doing with our approved providers. And at Ignite, we talked about the work we're doing with VMware on our integration with Windows 365 and VMware Horizon. It's now in public preview and it's available for everybody to get started with today. VMware Horizon Cloud customers can now just deliver a secure, personalized, high-performance Windows experience while still using the VMware control plane they're familiar with and the end user experiences that their end users are accustomed to. I'm going to quickly show you how easy tenant onboarding is. If you look on the screen, tenant onboarding is done through Microsoft Intune, where IT admins will enable the VMware connector. And then the admin will switch over to VMware to establish the connection between the VMware tenant and the Windows 365 tenant. And then they just need to onboard users, and we've made that quite straightforward as well. Customers can also use VMware app volumes to deliver and manage apps in their Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365 deployments. And that's true whether they're using Microsoft's native virtualization products or VMware Horizon. And then Citrix has been making Citrix VM creation on Azure faster with Citrix Machine Creation Services on Azure. Now Citrix customers can start or deallocate 5,000 VMs in less than 15 minutes. It's a huge time saver for admins. Deployment of our partner solutions is getting easier too. We've worked with Citrix to launch Citrix on Landing Zone Accelerator. This tool is just so helpful for helping IT admins provision production-ready Citrix on Azure workloads for enterprise scale and success. It provides Citrix design guidance, reference architecture, and actual code to get you started. And then finally, we're continuing to expand the options for Linux clients. Tenzig, Dell, HP, iGel, NComputing, and Stratadesk all have clients that will work with Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. And iGel has just launched a new client tailored to Windows 365.
Thanks, Deb. Great partner announcements, especially the ones with VMware and Citrix. I think it really helps customers to solve challenges or serve their needs where they are today. How can people stay in touch with you?
People can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Deb Dubrow. And thanks for having me, Christian. This was really fun.
Thanks, Deb. And now I'm super excited to talk about the Windows app, the new unified app across Windows 365 and AVD. And we have Phil here, which I know very well. Hi, Phil. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you, Christian?
Here, I'm good too. Thanks. Hey, can you share a little bit more about those end-user experiences announcements we just did at Ignite?
Sure. Yeah. I'll dive in on the Windows app itself. We've got a unification of bunch of different apps that remote desktop apps that we've had in the market for years and years. We really wanted to just do something simple across every platform. So all major platforms will be getting a new Windows app. The look and feel will be consistent across those platforms. What we're aiming for is to have all of our remoting technologies available in each app. So for Windows 365, AVD, Remote Desktop, and RDS, you'll be able to use one set of apps across all major platforms. And we'll be bringing Windows, Web, Mac OS, and iOS to market right around Ignite, with Android coming soon.
Thanks, Phil. And this is really exciting for customers using all those products that you just mentioned to make the user experience really, top notch, in my opinion here. Hey, can you show as well how it looks and feels in a demo?
Absolutely, Christian. What I'll do is I'll take folks through the iOS demo, which is a good representation of all platforms. So let's take a look at the new user experience here. On the home page, what you're going to see across the top are all of your cloud and remote desktops laid out. So right here, I've got a Windows 365 Cloud PC, Windows 365 DevBox, and an AVD desktop that I can access. And these are all desktops laid out across the top. And then down below, I'll have my pinned applications for remote apps that I could access directly if I have AVD applications assigned to me through my organization. Across the bottom there, what you'll see is a home devices and apps tab as well. And so if I click on those, I'm going to get all of the devices, all of the apps my organization has assigned to me. And in many cases, I'll have more than what you're seeing on the screen. And so this home tab gives me a way to just pin and organize my most frequently used stuff, where the devices and apps tabs are going to give me access to all of the resources I have available to me. In this same way, if I had a local machine that where I've got a remote desktop connection, that will also show up here across the top if I've pinned it to my favorites, as well as in the devices tab down below. So this model works for all four of those services I mentioned before: remote desktop, RDS, AVD, and Windows 365. So if I go ahead and click on, connect here on any of these desktops, we've got a nice, transition that you're probably familiar with before if you've been using our applications, where I'm going to simply remote into that session. Here we've got a Cloud PC, and you can see now I'm in Windows, running it on an iPad. I can use a keyboard and a mouse, and that's a full productivity machine for me anywhere I might be. And I've got an expense report that I can now go ahead and take a look at that's running inside this Windows machine. All the apps have that same kind of layout, have that same architecture. They're very consistent across the different platforms. There are some, obviously some cool things that we can do that are a little bit different per platform in terms of screen sharing and multi-monitor and all sorts of things. And all of that will be carried forward from the remote desktop apps that we have in the various stores today. But you'll see these new Windows apps coming up very soon in the market. So yeah, that's a great illustration with the iOS app of what you'll be able to experience on all of our platforms. We're really excited with Ignite to be able to announce this and get this into people's hands. We will be looking for feedback during our preview period here for the next few months, and then looking to make these generally available across all of our major platforms in 2024. So please give us feedback. Go check out all the apps in the stores, and we're very excited to be having these out in the market.
Well, thanks, Phil. Really amazing. Great demos and great user experience. So thanks for being back and a guest on this show. How can people stay in touch with you?
Yeah, best way is LinkedIn. I'm just Philip Garrity with one L. I do use Twitter a little bit, but not so much. So hit me on LinkedIn, and glad to connect.
Thanks, Phil. And now I'm super excited to talk about GPU SKUs as part of Cloud PCs and other SKUs and other enhancements we did on the platform side as well with Bhavya here. So hi, Bhavya. How are you doing?
Hi, Christiaan. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thanks for being on this episode. I'm super excited about the things you're going to show. But can you first tell the audience a little bit what you do at Microsoft?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm a group product manager for Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop. I lead the platform and security teams.
Can you show some of those great announcements in a demo format?
Thanks, Christiaan. Yes, I'm very excited to talk about the new SKUs that we released at Ignite. Let's first start with 16 vCPU. We now have two new 16 vCPU SKUs introduced as part of Windows 365. This is for all the workloads that need memory-intensive applications. Think FSIs, think wealth management apps. For those workloads, we've introduced two SKUs with two storage options, and you'll see that available in your licensing programs now.
Yeah, this is great, Bhavya, but I'm also super excited about the GPU SKU. So can you show what we have there?
Yes, absolutely. At Ignite, we're launching the new limited public preview for GPU SKUs. You'll see the options for what SKUs we're offering and their NDA pricing as you sign up for public preview. There's a link there to sign up for the public preview. But let me actually quickly show you a good demo of what it would mean to work on a GPU-enabled Cloud PC. If you're someone who works with complex graphics workloads, you're going to love GPU-enabled Cloud PCs. One of the things you'll notice right away is when you use feature-rich apps like Adobe Premiere Pro, you can see how real-time scaling is working so smoothly, just like it would work on a physical device. We'll then go on to seeing 3D Sampler, where you can interact with 3D models in real-time rendering at any zoom level. Notice how fast it responds, and even the light follows every move I make. Blender is a popular application for 3D content, and you'll notice that I have no problems interacting with this complex model that is showing this cool bakery scene. Once again, everything feels very responsive, just like it's on my desktop at home. And what you're seeing on your screen right now is the Unigen Superposition Benchmarking tool. It scales our GPUs, essentially throttles them, and you can see that we're getting 125 to 225 frame rates per second within this GPU-enabled VM.
Thanks, Bhavya. Great demo. And this is just great news because lots of customers have been waiting for GPUs as part of Cloud PCs. So super excited to see this coming to life. Can you share once more the link that they can use to join this preview?
Absolutely. Please sign up at aka.ms/Win365GPU.
Let's move to some other exciting news, security news and platform news, as you own it as part of the team as well. Can you share more there?
Absolutely. I have tons to share on security. When we think about security in our team, we think about zero trust principles, and there's about 3 categories that matter. We talk about secure identities, secure access, and secure data. And what you'll see is a few demos in each of those 3 categories and all the news that we're sharing there at Ignite. Let's begin with first, secure identities. First, we GA'd single sign-on and passwordless auth as part of both Windows 365 and AVD. What you're seeing on the screen is a demo of how you would be able to file a Windows 365 provisioning policy and enable the single sign-on. It's right at the bottom of the screen here. You're also able to apply the single sign-on setting to your existing provisioned Cloud PCs. They will go through a restart, but it's not a full re-provision, but you will be able to apply that setting to your existing Cloud PCs. We are not doing that demo today, but you're also able to do that as part of Azure Virtual Desktop, where you can go into the RDP properties and set up the single sign-on for your host pools. I'm very excited for this. It's the reason that we've had modern phish-resistant auth mechanisms, and now we support all of them, all the way from your Windows app that you heard from Phil earlier, going all the way into the Cloud PC session, as well as the apps within the session. Now let's talk a little bit about secure data. We have tons of investments that we made to make sure that your data is protected on your Cloud PC. First is watermarking and screen capture protection. These are security features that protect against unauthorized access and manipulation of data. They're preventative measures to discourage data leaks of internal and classified company resources. With watermarking, you can add a traceable watermark to Cloud PCs and AVD desktops. It's a security measure that can help prevent data theft, making it easier for you to trace a leak, if there was any, the source of the leak. And with screen capture protection, which works alongside watermarking, that helps you prevent sensitive information from being captured from your virtual desktop. It could be done through your print screen or your slipping tool or 3P applications on the client. All of them prevent the capture of the screen, and you're able to prevent your sensitive information from leaking. We also introduced the customer managed keys feature that's going into public preview in December, where Windows 365 customers will be able to use their own encryption keys to protect data on your Cloud PC disks. Think of the data being hosted in Microsoft data centers, and now you have more security and more control on who has access to that data. We also introduced customer logbox, where Windows 365 on-call engineers need your explicit approval to be able to access your content in case of troubleshooting purposes. The flow makes sure that you get approval and all of the actions by the Microsoft engineer is audited if it's happening against your data. And last, to the secure data category, let's talk about Purview Endpoint DLP. DLP is data loss prevention. We integrated with Microsoft Purview to make sure that any data that is residing in your environment or your VMs is protected and can be detected if there's a leak. You can also block any sensitive information from leaving your environment or leaving your VM, and DLP helps you do all of that once you onboard your Cloud PCs or AVD desktops on it. And now, Let's talk about the secure access category. The big highlight that I want to do there is keylogger detection. With Microsoft Defender, we ensured that we can now detect keyloggers, which has been a common ask from all of our customers. We're also working on encrypting keystrokes, but the detection mechanisms is already available for you to use today.
Thanks, Bhavya. Great to have you on the show, and great announcements. Definitely the security ones and GPU, my favorite ones personally. Hey, how can people stay in touch with you?
Yeah, LinkedIn would be the best approach. Look up Bhavya Chopra, and I would be happy to connect.
Thanks, Bhavya. I know the last section of this episode is super exciting as well with Tristan. So hi, Tristan. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Good to see you, Brinkoff.
Can you explain a little bit what your role and your responsibilities in Microsoft are?
Yeah, I've been at Microsoft for about 18 years. I'm now responsible for enterprise and government businesses and products across Windows 365, Azure Virtual Desktop, and remote desktop services. So I think you've had quite a few people from my team actually on the podcast before. I think this is also my first time you've actually invited me, Brinkoff. So what took so long?
Yeah, I don't know. No excuses for that right now, Tristan, but I'm super glad that you are here right now. And I also are super glad and excited about the cool demos you prepared. So can you share a little bit what we did on the AVD side in terms of cool new stuff?
Yeah, and I want to say, like I say, my team has so much stuff going on. It's hard really to hit everything. We have a bunch of stuff going on with FS Logics, App Attach, making these things more flexible, easy to publish, easy to update, easy to monitor. We're working on a bunch of updates with host pool and session host management, just making the whole management experience a lot easier for AVD. So I will just start with kind of showing a couple things that are a little bit more visual that you can see. So the first thing here I just want to show is that we are GAing our auto scaling plan support for personal desktops. And if you do AVD management, this is really big because you are responsible for the bill at the end of the day. And so when you have compute and storage running, you are going to be paying that at the end of the month. And so we have all these flexible options that you can play with about when your VMs get shut down at the end of the day, how you schedule them to turn on before users come get back online the next day. And as you can see here, we have a couple choices for if you want to fully shut them down or just hibernate them, which is in preview for a little bit longer. But the actual ability to shut down and turn back on, being able to auto start these machines when they're turned off, this is all GA as of now.
This is great to hear, and very good for like building business cases and cost savings as well. What are we doing on the Azure Stack HCI side? There's something happening there too, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's maybe one of the more common questions I get is you've been in preview with Azure Stack HCI for a while. What's happening there? And so the thing that we just announced at Ignite is that now you can actually select Azure Stack HCI just like any other VM location in the Azure portal. So this is still in preview. It's a little bit easier to use now, a different, easier interface. And then we're tracking the HCI GA release for 23H2. And this is targeting Q1 of next calendar year. So somewhere between January and March of next year, we expect to be able to GA this entire Azure Stack HCI support.
This is great news because I know like this has been a long awaited feature from customers. So great news and great to hear the data as well being confirmed there. So switching from AVD to Windows 365, what are we doing with Intune Suite?
It's a great question, Brinkoff, and it's good to remind everyone that all the investments that are made into Intune automatically apply to Windows 365. So this includes options like the Intune Suite, where you get premium access to features like remote help, EPM. And so one of the things we just announced is official support for EPM along with remote help. So again, so much of our mantra with Windows 365 is manage it just the same as you would with a physical PC. You can do the same with a cloud PC. And so we've continued to live up to that promise here.
You're very good in terms of security as well, in terms of zero trust models with Cloud PCs and Intune Suite and EPM and remote help. So great news to hear this. But what are we doing in endpoint analytics for connectivity monitoring and such in terms of enhancements?
Yeah, it's a continued big investment for us across the team of Windows 365. One of the things that is different about cloud PCs from physical PCs is we need to make sure that users can always connect. This is like losing access to your keyboard and mouse when you're using a PC, so you have to have this. So we continue to try to make this easy to do and automated and kind of SaaS-like as much as possible. We already have reports out which show you at any point in time which cloud PCs can be connected to, and if not, why not. And the thing that we're about to roll out next is some of these alerting capabilities. So you can go pre-configure your tenant and say, if there's some threshold of cloud PCs that are not connectable, you can't connect to them, regardless of why, let me know right away. Send me an email, send me an alert in the console. So this kind of gives you this end-to-end workload for knowing right when users can't connect and then being able to get closer to the report and the actions you can take to mitigate that situation.
Yeah, and then the last one where I'm very excited about is like integrating with AI inside the Windows 365 and Intune portal as part of EA as well. So can you shed some light on that, what we do there?
Yeah, we're super excited about it too. Obviously, all of Microsoft and the industry is excited about AI. And so we see a lot of very valuable practical things that we can do with Windows 365. And so this is kind of one of our first forays into this. We're not exactly sure what we're going to call it. Here you see in this demo, I'm going to show you Cloud PC recommendations. And you can see how smart we can get with all the data we have about how to advise you to optimize your deployment. Monitoring the users that are not using the right size Cloud PC or maybe not even using them as much as you'd like. You can move your users and your Cloud PCs around to really optimize your deployment. Instead of doing the demo myself, Ben on my team did this perfect recording, and he has such a cool voice, and so I wanted you just to see it directly from him. So check this out.
This is an overview of Cloud PC recommendations, an AI-powered feature for Windows 365 that's designed to allow you to optimize the performance and the total cost of ownership of Cloud PCs. The idea is to try and identify devices that are right-sized, here shown in green, which means that they have the ideal resource configuration and activity for a user. Or, in contrast, where they might be undersized, here shown in red, meaning that the device does not have the resources that a user might need to do their day-to-day activities, which could mean they have a poor end-user experience, application issues, or other problems. Whether a device might be oversized, shown in orange, which means that a device actually has more resources than a user might need, and you have the option of downsizing that device in order to have some cost savings. Finally, some devices may be underutilized, which means that they maybe aren't interacted with very frequently, or in some cases, simply aren't logged into at all, and those licenses can be reclaimed. I have a few different mechanisms that I can use to view this information. I have the option to view this by device, which in this case will actually break out each individual Cloud PC, what category it falls into, and really critically, what recommended size we think that device should be if it happens to be undersized or oversized. I also have the option to view that by model, which in this case allows me to start getting insights into whether certain device sizes just aren't quite right for my environment. So in this case, I've got a large number of 2 vCPU Cloud PCs that are undersized, and users may not be getting the best experience. So in my environment, I may want to choose a 4 vCPU configuration as my baseline moving forward. The Cloud PC recommendations are an AI-driven mechanism that helps you pinpoint real actionable information that you can use to resize or reclaim licenses to balance performance and total cost of ownership for Windows 365.
Thanks, Tristan. Super excited about the AI integrations here. So stellar job from the team getting this all together. So how can people stay in touch with you if they want to learn more or provide feedback directly to you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is probably the best for me. Tristan Scott, feel free to shoot me a message. I'll post there occasionally too if you want to follow me.
Well, thanks, Tristan.
Thank you, Brinkoff. I hope it's not too long until I see you again.
So thanks, folks, for being such an amazing guest and this great interview. I learned a ton, and I bet customers would like all those new features that we worked on for the last 6 to 12 months. And with that, I would like to thank you for watching. If you're a new guest on this show, please go to ak.ms/Windows in the Cloud to see all the previous episodes as well. And we hope to see you back for the next episode, because we will have an episode about Windows 365 and Intune Suite. So very exciting topic. So I hope to see you there.